Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you my melt in your mouth recipe for cheddar and chive scones. Ready to bake with me? Let's get started. Now for melt in your mouth scones, we're going to start off by getting our flour right. Our flour is going to be the base of our dry ingredients. So in my large bowl, I'm going to start off with some unbleached all-purpose flour. And you see how I was just aerating my flour? So you want to aerate your flour like that versus scooping it up, just scooping it up into your measuring cup, because then we'll get too much flour, throws off the ratio of your recipe. And so you see how I just like to scoop up just like that, aerate my flour. Then I use my butter knife to just even out my flour. And I use the back end of my butter knife. You see how I like to also tap on my measuring cup to make sure I don't happen to have any air into my measuring cup. Now another way you can also scoop your flour into your measuring cup is by using a spoon and just spooning the flour into your measuring cup and then leveling it off. So that was 3 cups of unbleached all-purpose flour. You can also use regular all-purpose flour as well. Now to this, I'm also going to be adding some sugar, and that is 2 tablespoons of sugar. This is my baking soda, and for my baking soda, I'm using a half a teaspoon of baking soda. So far in our bowl, we have our 3 cups of flour, 2 tablespoons of sugar, and I have a half a teaspoon of baking soda. Next, I'm going to put in my baking powder. And for my baking powder, we're going to be using 1 tablespoon of baking powder. Now we're using baking soda and baking powder. Baking powder is going to give our scones wonderful rise and lift, and that baking soda reacts well with that buttermilk and also is going to give us some lift. Next, I'm going to put in some salt. This is regular table salt, and I'm putting in 1 teaspoon of regular table salt. Now at the end of the video, I'll share with you a visual of all the ingredients that I use to make my melt in your mouth cheddar and chive scones, and I'll also share with you a list of ingredients in the description box below for your reference. You get to the description box by clicking on the title. A box opens up and you'll see there the list of ingredients. So I use my wire whisk and I whisk the dry ingredients together. Now once all the dry ingredients are whisked together, we're going to put in some butter. Now I'm using unsalted butter, and for this recipe you want to use unsalted butter. This is cold butter. Actually, it was in the freezer, so this is frozen butter that I'm using. And the best way, especially if you're making either scones or biscuits, is to grate it in. So if you're able to grate it in, you want to grate it in to your dry ingredients, or you can also just grate it right on. I'm going to be using my silicone mat down there as well, but grate it in to those dry ingredients. We're using 12 tablespoons of unsalted cold butter or frozen butter. This one's frozen that I'm using, especially it's easier to grate if it's frozen. And so this is 12 tablespoons. 12 tablespoons is 1 stick, which is going to be 8 tablespoons, and then a half a stick, which is 4 more, and that's going to give you the 12 tablespoons you need. So 1.5 sticks of butter. Now, if you are new to my channel, welcome in. And if you're a returner, I want to thank you for coming back. My name is Dyvonne, and on my channel, I love to share what I cook and bake for my family in my kitchen. I love old school recipes, collecting vintage cookbooks. I have a cookbook from 1895 and things that I have learned to make and bake from being in the kitchen with my mom and her sisters. So if you think you'd enjoy that type of content, I hope you consider subscribing. So once I've got the butter grated in, next I'm going to grate some sharp cheddar cheese, and you want to grate it from the block. It's going to melt better into our recipe. So this is sharp cheddar cheese, and I'm using 1 cup of grated sharp cheddar cheese. Now I found that sharp cheddar cheese works best, but if you'd like to use a medium cheddar cheese, you can. And likewise, if you like a little bit more bite, you can use an extra sharp cheddar cheese. Then I'm going to add in my dried chives. So these are dried chives. Now you can also use fresh chives if you like. And the chives, you only want to use the green part of the green onion. Okay, now I'm using dried chives. And so for the dried chives, that was 1/4 of a cup. Now, before we add in our buttermilk, we want to press and blend all of those ingredients together. And I'm pressing any of the chunky pieces that happen to clump together of the butter, because sometimes that will happen. Once you grate your butter into your bowl, you're going to have sometimes like little different chunks. We want to break those down and really pinch that flour and butter together. And this is what you want it to look like. You're going to end up with a bunch of cold, small pieces of that butter that's been integrated into the flour. Now I'm going to take some cold buttermilk, and you want to use cold buttermilk. This is 1 cup of cold buttermilk. Now with your buttermilk, be sure to shake it before you pour it into your measuring cup. You want to make sure that your buttermilk is nice and blended well, so shake it before adding it to your bowl. And then I use my spatula to blend and press the buttermilk and the dry ingredients together. And I like to do that by going from the bottom of the bowl, and I rotate my ingredients to the top, and then I press. And so that pressing motion really helps to start to bring the ingredients together. And so go from the bottom, and you see how I'm mixing it and just pressing it. You really want to start to form that nice dough ball inside your bowl. Now also on your spatula, sometimes you'll have some of the ingredients will gather. You want to make sure that you get those off so that way it stays blended with everything else. And so just go from the bottom around the sides and press. We're going to make nice one cohesive ball right in the middle. So I'm basically gathering my dough together in the bowl and going around the sides because we're starting to create those layers, because as I flip the dough over, we're also going to be creating some layers. Those layers are going to puff up so nicely when we go to bake our scones in the oven. I'm going to go ahead and put my spatula aside, and then we're going to take our dough ball out of our bowl. And then when you do that, you should have just very little, if any at all, dry ingredients left in your bowl. It should really be a nice cohesive ball with about 95% of the dough all blended together. Now, once I take it out, I'm just going to press, and something that I like to do is I like to fold it over just about 2 or 3 more times. Now, all these steps are small steps, but they make such a difference between melt in your mouth delicious scones and scones where you think, okay, where did I go wrong? What happened? And so these little details do make the difference when it comes to the final product that you're going to get and pull out of the oven and share with your family and friends. These little steps will make all the difference. And so also something you notice is that I like to keep the dough together, and I press around the edges. I'm looking for about 1 inch thickness, about 1 inch to maybe 1.5 inches at the most, but around about 1 inch thickness. Then once I have everything just patted down, and I did not use a rolling pin will make it too flat. So I always just flatten it with my hands instead. And then this is what our dough looks like. I use my cutter. This is a 3-inch cutter that I'm using with the little serrated sides. And you can use a biscuit cutter or you can use a cup to cut these out. And also when you're cutting out your scones, you want to go straight down and pull straight up. You do not want to twist, because if you twist, what happens is you seal the sides by twisting, and that twisting motion will keep your scones as well as biscuits from rising. So just go straight down and straight up. And with my cutter, I'm going to end up with about 12 scones. If you use a bigger cutter like the 4-inch cutter, you're going to end up with around anywhere from 8 to 10 scones. It just kind of depends. Now to top them off, we're going to put a little bit of the shaken buttermilk. So I'm going to top them with just a little bit of buttermilk, a dab of buttermilk. This is going to also help them just to brown up nicely, and it's a nice finishing touch to our scones. So I'm just going to put that little bit of buttermilk, just dab it right on top. I have my oven preheating on 400 degrees, and our scones are going to bake in the oven at 400 degrees from about 18 minutes to about maybe 22, 23 minutes. Now, before we go ahead and we start baking them, that was some sea salt. And so I'm going to grind a little sea salt in the palm of my hand. I'm going to do a tiny sprinkle of sea salt on each of the scones. Now, I have found that I've baked it without the sea salt on top, and with it, I like it with it. That little extra sea salt, just that tiny little pinch on each scone, really makes the difference in that savory taste. And I'm going to share with you a quick way to freeze your scone dough. So I went on and I had the last 6. I cut them out and then I'm dabbing on some buttermilk as well. On my little cookie sheet, I have parchment paper. These are going to go in my freezer for 1 hour, just like this. And then when I take them out of the freezer, I'll share with you how to store them. So our scones are out of the oven. They have baked in our oven at 400 degrees, and these baked for 20 minutes. And depending on your oven, it's going to be anywhere from 18 minutes up to about 22, 23 minutes. And don't they look so good? You can smell the chives in there. The cheese is nicely melted. The tops have browned up nicely. The bottom, that undercarriage, is looking great. And so I'm going to go ahead and we're going to doll this up some. You can serve this for breakfast. We're having it for breakfast this morning. It goes great with dinner if you're going to have like some stew, chili. It is wonderful. And do you see that nice soft interior? Flaky. It is just looking so good. Now, a great way to have these is with a little bit of cream cheese and also some of this pepper jelly. We got into some pepper jelly. My daughter brought this home during the holidays from school back east, and we just fell in love with it. And so we're going to have our scones with a little bit of cream cheese. And this is optional. You can have it plain if you like, just like that. But with this little bit of cream cheese and that pepper jelly on top, and the cheddar and chive scone, it is just a wonderful combination. And for another sweet savory combination, some strawberry jam or preserves or some hot honey or either regular honey. Well, this bite right here is going to be for you. And then I have the side of someone who doesn't want cream cheese on there. So go ahead and take your bite. Okay, for us on this side, go ahead and take your bite. I'm going to take my bite. Oh my goodness. These hit just right. You see those nice little layers in there. It is just so good. These are melt in your mouth scones. Well, I hope you give this recipe a try. I'll share with you a visual of the ingredients that I used. I used my baking soda, baking powder, flour, sugar. That was my sharp cheddar cheese, my unsalted butter, my buttermilk, my dried chives, and also I had regular salt. And we also put a little bit of the ground sea salt on top as well. Now to freeze your scone dough, what I did was I took that tray and I put it in the freezer, and this is what it looks like after an hour of being in the freezer. And so I'm going to be able to freeze them and take out as many as I want to bake them anytime that I get ready to. I'm using a freezer bag, and I've labeled my freezer bag with what's going to be in here. And then I take the scones, and when you do this method and you freeze your dough and you put it on the sheet and you put it in there for an hour in the freezer, this is called flash freezing, or that's what it's referred to as flash freezing. So if you ever see that anywhere written, this is what it's referred to. And so after we've done that flash freezing, or flash frozen your dough, then I put in just half of them, and then I'm going to use my parchment paper. I'm going to tear my parchment paper in half. I just need to use about half of this parchment paper, and I'm going to put a layer between the two scones, so that way as they continue to stay in my freezer, and I can freeze these up to about 6 months or so. When they stay in the freezer, then they won't end up sticking together at all. And so I'm just going to go layer them. I'm going to put a piece of parchment paper in between them, and you can do a few layers if you want to. And so this is also great during the holiday times, Christmas time, Easter, anytime you want to make something ahead of time, or say, it's just a few people in the household and you're not going to eat all 12 scones at once, you can go ahead and just make your batch and then freeze them and use them and take them out and bake them. And you don't have to defrost them. You just bake them from frozen at 400 degrees, and you're just going to add a little bit more baking time, about 3 to 5 minutes more baking time. And that is it. That is how you freeze your scones. Well, this is our breakfast this morning. We're having our wonderful cheddar and chive scones, some scrambled eggs and bacon, and of course, we're going to have ourselves some coffee. Well, that is it for me today. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. And if you like this video, don't forget to show it some love, give it a thumbs up, and click share. Share this video with a friend or family. And remember, it's always good when Dyvonne is cooking for the family. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye, everybody.